So in the last class we spoke about the first three chakras, or the last three, depending on if you're doing top down or bottom up. We spoke about the crown, the third eye, and the throat, and working with them. And next, of course, we're going to speak with the heart. And what's important to remember here is that with each of these chakra centers, we could probably spend a whole retreat on each chakra center. We could speak about each one deeply and get to know it intimately. And so this is a brief overview, but it gives us a starting point, a place to begin our investigation. And so when most of us think of the heart center, we think of the center of joy, of radiance, of vast, spacious light, and absolute bliss. And most of us, unfortunately, most of us, when we start the path, we want to discover all these things for ourselves. And we do that because we're struggling so much with our egoic nature. We want an escape from our egoic nature. But the true heart, as we open to our true heart, we realize through the direct experience of oneness, through the experience of unity, that there's not two, that we are not separate from each other, that when we are opening our heart, we are opening the heart of the earth, the heart of all humanity. And so it's good to note this, that this is a path of oneness. A true heart is mature, and it radiates compassion to all beings, ourself included, to all beings. And so the path of the heart is the path of love. It's a fearless and courageous love, like the love of Christ. And so the question is, how do we open to this? How do we discover a Christ-like love within our very nature? Well, it's interesting because life gives us lots of opportunities to love. Life has given us tremendous opportunity to suffer. Because we live in an evolutionary world, suffering is a part of evolution. And therefore the doorway to the true heart is through suffering, is through learning to love your suffering, learning to embrace your sadness, your heartache, your rage, your anxiety, whatever it is that's stored on your human heart. And so oftentimes when I talk about the heart space and opening to the true heart, I talk about two hearts. The human emotional heart, which is plagued with suffering, sadness, anger, rage, anxiety, heartache. Most of us, what we do is repress all these energetic feelings, all these emotional feelings within our body. We clench our throat chakra, and we repress these energies back down within us. Now normally, if you have an emotion, that emotion wants to move and it wants to empty out of your being. That's how the human body is wired. If we allow the energy of the emotion just to naturally release out of our being, the emotion is freed out of us, we have a good cry, and we naturally let it go. But because most of us are afraid to love, are afraid to feel, are afraid to experience, when we have an emotion, we clench our throat, we repress it, and it just stays here in our heart area. And so many of us, our hearts are burdened with anxiety, with sadness from the past, with all this cellular memories and pain from our childhood. And so to truly open the heart, we don't just sit and meditate on the goodness of our heart and expect to stay there forever. We may expect to open to worlds of bliss, but if you notice, you will not stabilize in those worlds of bliss until you heal, unload, and transform your human heart. If your human heart is heavy, you're not going to be able to rest in the space of Ananda, in the space of bliss, in the space of in the space of joy. And so if our heart is heavy, we take a deep breath. We connect with the goodness of our true heart, which is deep within us. So this space is deep within us, deep back toward the spine. And you connect with this eternal heart, which is vibrant, which is radiant, which is pure. And from this place of purity, we love, we embrace the places which feel sad and lonely and hurt. That tends to be on the surface of our chest. We tend to carry this weight. So the first thing we do is we dive deep into our true heart and feel this goodness that we are, this absolute love, this absolute tenderness and compassion. And we begin to embrace the sadness, the hurt, the heartache, the rage, the heaviness. We breathe into it. If tears want to come, we let the tears come. If anger comes, we allow the anger to come. If heartache comes, we allow heartache to come. And we embrace it patiently and breathe into it and hold it the way a good mother would hold a crying child for as long as it takes. And if you notice, tears may start to develop. Sadness comes, anxiety comes. But as you sit with this for a couple hours, a couple days, a couple years, that sadness moves, it empties out. And then I invite you to look again. Well, what's here? Oh, there's this radiance here. There's this goodness here. There's this absolute love, absolute unity. There's this space that just sees beauty in everything it looks at. It sees beauty everywhere. It becomes easy to forgive, easy to let go, easy to let emotions empty out of us because we courageously embrace them and we are no longer frightened by them. And as we do this work, we see that forgiveness is our friend. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It's a way of cleansing the human heart so that we can more deeply and fully connect with our true heart. We see that forgiveness brings us into our true nature, brings us into this true space of unity, of letting go. It brings us into a true space of compassion. Forgiveness does not mean I agree with what happened or I liked it. It simply means we acknowledge it. We're willing to let it go. We're willing to put our guns down after our battle and to stop fighting with life or with another, which is really a manifestation of ourself. And so from this space of letting go, what we notice is, while we are letting go of that which is heavy, we are simultaneously opening up to and discovering that which is vibrant, that which is blissful, that which is absolutely loving. We begin to notice that this love that we are, this heart that we are, it's been through so much, and yet it's never actually been harmed. It's still pure, it's still beautiful, it's still loving and vibrant. You know, I was sitting with a friend today, and as we were talking, his heart came forward. And he began to cry when he saw the hugeness of his heart, when he saw how bright and brilliant it was. I began to feel blessed just to sit in his presence, and here I was supposed to be the teacher. But because I met him, because I was in this space of humility, because I was in this space of openness, I was able to be blessed by the hugeness of His own heart. And so all of us have a huge heart, like my dear friend Alex does. All of us have this vast heart. But the question is are we courageous enough to get to know it? Are we courageous enough to fall in love with ourselves? To get to know the depth of our being, to open into our heart and to feel this radiance, to feel this love. And this love, it doesn't feel like a gushy love, a sentimental love. It feels like a true love, the love of Christ that is strong, it's unwavering, it's vibrant, and shines light in every direction. And so I invite you to breathe, to experience, to feel your own radiance, to feel this sense of aliveness, to ask, what is this aliveness here? To step into it. How bright is my nature? How bright is the brilliance of my own heart space? How big is this love that I am? Despite all the hell I've been through, isn't it paradoxical that this love is still here? That it has not been harmed? Despite all the people I have hurt and who have hurt me, can I forgive my human heart? Can I forgive myself for being a human, for struggling, for fighting, for falling on my face? And can I step into this greater love, this greater space of unity consciousness, this greater space of absolute beauty? And notice how beautiful it is that we are. How beautiful it is that life is. How beautiful a child is, or a bird you hear in the distance. How beautiful all of life is. And so we begin to open to this experience of love, this experience of having no walls between us and another, between us and the hugeness of the sky, between us and the radiance of the mountains and the trees and the grass and the leaves falling. Can we be big? Can we be vast? Can we be huge? Can we live in a way without walls? Can we notice that we do not have to cover our heart in pain? Can we notice we can continue to love, continue to let go, continue to live in this fearlessly open-hearted way? And so this is our ongoing invitation.